that one man who should be busy in Abuja, just facing his work. I don't doubt that he can do a good job. I have no doubt that he does a good job. I'm not one of those who will even question how much is being thrown at him and how much of it is being spent. That is not my concern today. My concern is that the APC-led federal government is allowing Wike to go on rampage, because ordinarily what Wike is doing is clearly being done with the backing of those at the very top. It's a rehash of what is done in Rivers State with the man he helped install as governor, despite promises by him in the past that when he leaves as governor, he will never dictate to the new governor. A major crisis of monumental dimensions was orchestrated, was aggravated in Rivers by one man. And we all sat there watching until they had to declare a state of emergency. Just because one man would not agree to go away quietly as a former governor. I've never seen anything like it. It's unprecedented in the history of Nigeria. Even the president, the incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has held Lagos since 1999 to date, has not been as audacious as Wike. In fact, right now, it's looking like we have two presidents in Nigeria. Wike can do anything. Yesterday, I listened to the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the commander-in-chief, calling fellow Nigerians busybodies. You interpreted it as naysayers. Naysayers is still far better than busybodies. Nigerians, you are calling Nigerians busybodies. Bystanders. Who is a bystander in his own country? Because of one man, Wike. And of course, if you were in Wike's shoes, you will dance more than he danced yesterday. I saw the expression on the faces of the audience. They looked captured. They looked befuddled. They looked like, hey, what is our country turning into? The man was dancing because he launched a conference center built at a stupendous cost of 30-something billion, according to the reports. So, if you are talking about PDP, PDP has no other problem than a few desperate politicians who want to hold power by force, who is wicked to dictate to a party where its presidential candidate should come from. I've never heard it before. Yes, you can discuss it. Even the last election in which he participated, he was the one who brought the governor of Benue at that time, Samuel Ortom. And within them, they threw the race open. That's why people like us bought the form. That's why we participated. And after he lost, he has never been consolable. Once he lost that election, he lost everything. And since then, he himself has known no peace, because when the chicken perches on the rope is uncomfortable. The chicken itself is rocking uncomfortably. So that is what is going on. So saying Samaya, who is this, that I'm not interested. You are saying maybe PDP would enter maybe its final run. Or maybe, perhaps, the undertakers are already within PDP. They provided the coffin. They are just waiting for the corpse.
Now, Chief Momodu, you are a major, PDP stakeholder, and I doubt that you were at that meeting on Monday. And some would say you are one of the few voices of reason left in the PDP. But you granted an interview recently where you said your soul has left the PDP, only your body remains. And, the defections continue, and hints at defections are continuing. We've heard commentary that has dominated the headlines from Mr. Segun Showumi, PDP governorship candidate in Ogun State in the last election. So the question is, are you leaving the PDP? And if you're leaving the PDP, are you considering joining the coalition?
I am not a major stakeholder in PDP. Today, there is only one major stakeholder in PDP, and that's from Wike. There is none other. All former governors, current governors, he has insulted them, black and blue. It doesn't care. And they've all taken it with uncommon equanimity. But to call me a major stakeholder, no. I've always been a conscience of reason in PDP. I'm a technocrat. I'm a professional. I have a job. Politics for me is part-time. In fact, if the miracle would happen, it should be that politicians in Nigeria must first of all present their credentials, show us what work they've done before, the businesses, the empires they have built before they come. So what is happening is that there are too many people who live virtually on politics in Nigeria, and so it makes it so difficult for them to understand, to appreciate the suffering of the ordinary people of Nigeria. Nobody is talking about governance again in Nigeria. They are campaigning. Yesterday I drove through Akure, and I already saw campaign offices of Mr. President. It's unbelievable. INEC is watching. People want to register new parties. They can't register it because they will put all kinds of bottlenecks on their path. So for me, whatever happens, when I said my soul is that of PDP, there is nobody, except maybe those benefiting from this government or any other government, who would be happy to see how PDP is in tatters today, to see the rags PDP is wearing today, just because one man wants to keep PDP for himself. He knows what he's doing. They say he's bold, he's courageous. I dare him to join APC. He's holding PDP down, hoping that whenever APC runs into trouble, then he will resurrect PDP for himself. That's all. He knows that PDP is dead. The man who says presidency should be zoned to the south wanted to be vice president to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He doesn't like to hear that truth, but that's the truth. He wanted to be vice president to Atiku Abubakar. So if the current vice president and they won that election, will he be talking the way he's talking now? And at any rate, each and every political party has a right to field any candidate, no matter where that candidate is coming from. Any candidate, whether in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west. It is the right, it is the sole prerogative of every political party. It is not the sole property of the Nyesom Wike. In fact, what he's doing now in the decent society is tantamount to staging a coup against a political party by going on out and using forces of coercion and all manner of subterfuge to fight the party that made him everything that he is today. I have no fear of contradiction about everything that he is today came from that party. Please go on.
Isn't that, Chief Momodu, I want